You know what? Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. This is Smart Business Moves. Our guest today is Diana Henley with Natural Care Cleaning in Houston, Texas. I know you're somewhere around Houston. It's kind of Houston proper, right?
Right in the middle of it. We are right in the
Right
middle of Houston. Yeah.
smack
City
dab.
company. Yep.
You guys have had some weather this year, haven't you?
We just live with that knowledge that there were always going to have something. Actually, poor Louisiana gets the brunt of it. But yeah, we've had a moment or two. Yeah.
Well, Liz is going to be with us today. She's having technical difficulties, having connection issues. I guess that's technical difficulties.
Yeah.
So we will power on, and hey, Liz Day is here and Denise. Okay. So how you been? You haven't talked in a while.
I know. How have I? I've been good. We've been really good here. Just moving right along, making lots of changes this year. Exciting changes. I've been really learning new stuff, kind of turning things around, I think. We had plenty of time in that beginning of the pandemic because we didn't have a whole lot of cleans to do to think about things. So that kind of spurred some action with us after we've been in business for 14 years, and we just started kind of switching it up a bit, making it a little bit more exciting.
God, that was a weird time, wasn't it? Because you felt like you needed to be doing something, but you didn't know what to do.
We gardened. We had amazing gardens. Okay. We've been really busy this year, though. The gardens are kind of neglected, but yeah, that's what we did. We talked a lot about what our next moves would be.
Do you like freeze and can stuff, or do you?
Tom, you're not going to believe that, but that's like my dream, is to be able to garden and can and freeze stuff. But no, we don't usually. We use it, freeze a little bit, dehydrate a little bit. But yeah,
okay.
One day when we're not so busy, I'll put a lot of attention to that.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, that was like my parents did that. I mean, they had like a really big garden, and they'd freeze stuff and it would stay in the freezer for years and years and years, a lot longer than it should. You go to the bottom and you never find it.
I think our parents did things like that. Yeah, we're more aware of that sort of thing these days.
And every once in a while, I find something. I say, "Oh, I'm slipping." It's
right. Turning into your parents. Yeah. It was a weird time, but it was good too. I mean, not good for a lot of people. Obviously, a lot of loss, but a lot of reflection.
Yeah. So what type of what did you guys decide to do? What type of changes have you been making?
Well, one thing is we switched software, and that was a big. So so I'm in business with my family. So my husband and I and my daughter, we partner together. So we all partner together, and so it's interesting. I had wanted to switch software quite a while ago. Hi, Liz.
Look who's here. Hey, Liz. Glad you could make it.
Can't hear.
She can't hear. Well, that's okay.
Pace
you
yourself.
Can just smile and wave every once in a while, and maybe drop something in chat if you have something to add.
There you go.
But she can't hear me, so it really doesn't matter, does it? Because she
no, it doesn't. She can't hear. No, she's gonna do that for a minute.
She knows we're goofing on her, though.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You can't hear us?
No. I can now.
Oh, good! Yay!
Oh my gosh! Oh, I can't believe it's only been 7 minutes. Feels like it's been an hour.
Welcome Monday. Happy Monday to you, Liz.
I don't know what happened. I've been having trouble with connectivity stuff all day. Thanks, Aja.
We have a question from the audience. Aja Holiday wants to know, how is Liz so adorable?
She's trying to make up for not being on the call today. Right, Aja? Butter me up from not doing your job today.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Here you are.
I'm so glad I finally made it. All right. So what did I miss? What have you guys been talking about?
Gardening. Gardening.
Well, I mean, Diana, you do have an amazing garden.
Yeah, it's
really
fun.
Right?
Yeah. I know. I actually told my husband when school started this year that I was going to cut my hours at work because I needed more time in the mornings in the garden. I need more me time.
It sounds fair. I like that. Yeah, that sounds right.
Mm-hmm. Right? Yes. Oh, so anyway, Tom, we were talking about the changes we made this year, and I said we changed software. But when you have partners, I think, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this feeling, but I don't usually say, you know what, we're going to switch to Made Central and let's go. I have to have long conversations and everybody has to be on board. Really, everybody has to be on board. Hey, Martha. So Chad and Candace were not on board as quick as I was.
Okay.
But to be fair, they do all the work.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
It's easier for you to make the decision if somebody else has to do the work.
It is so easy. It is so easy. So that was one of the changes that we made. And when we decided we were going to make that decision, we knew we had other decisions to make. You know, like we wanted to get the full function of Made Central. And so we knew that when we switched, we were eventually going to have solo cleaning technicians. We were going to change the way we were paying and then change to solo. So we just kind of stair-stepped, started really looking for money in the company that we could redirect to our cleaning technicians and away from things that, just other things. And so how I talked them into it was, guys, I think that if we use Made Central and fully use it, use all of its features, we won't have to hire another person for the office right away.
Well,
so that's right. So, I could either start looking at hiring a salesperson or another assistant in the office.
Yeah. So, awesome. Yeah. And so that's how they got on board?
It was how they got on board. A couple of things happened. One is I wanted to give raises. And I've been pushing, but we were over 50%, 55% very often. And so that's a hard push when we're over 55%. And so I started writing down, because I do all the interviewing at our company still. I started writing down, I made a list. I had a long list every time, because when I interview people, one of the questions I ask is how much they made at their jobs. So whenever they were at like Lowe's or one of our local grocery stores or whatever, a known Walmart, Target, whatever, I'd write down what they were making. So I just created this list, how long they've been there and what they were making, how long they've been there and what they were making. And I started to see we were hitting way too close to typically low-paying jobs. Like I could see those low-paying jobs were going up, like CNA positions that are usually here in Texas. I don't know about your area, but for me, CNAs just do not get paid very much. Yeah. Not near what they need to get paid if they're taking care of grandma and grandpa. Yeah. But so I just brought my list to Chad and said, so Walmart and we're kind of getting way too close. We better do something or we're not going to be able to hire. And so that's when we made the switch over to Made Central. When I could bring a list, here's what's going on in our community right now. Here's what's people are paying. So how are we going to fix that?
So for the people who are going to watch this later, Diana, and might not know what you're talking about. When you were talking about getting at 55%, you were talking about payroll percent of revenue, right?
Yes. Our labor cost was consistently around that. Yeah. We were running high. That's high for us. That's higher than we needed to be to have a healthy company.
One of our favorite KPIs.
Yes.
I mean, that's the eyeballs are on that one every week. As a matter of fact, right before we got on this, I called Chad. Because they did payroll today already. Okay, what was last week's labor?
Yeah, that number right there can just keep you from having so many problems, right?
Well, paying your bills. It can keep you from paying your bills.
Yeah.
Right. No, so we started to get really serious about it. The very first thing we did when we switched over to Made Central, so we had a big breakfast at a nice restaurant. We have this really nice restaurant in town that spaces out the tables for me, and they have a nice TV for me to use, and they're closed in the morning, so I can have breakfast there. They're fabulous. We had a big breakfast meeting there and announced that we were switching software and that everybody in the company across the board was getting a $2 an hour raise. So that's where we started in March. Right. Yeah. And that went over well. But with that,
I would hope so.
With that came responsibility. And that was that we were going to be switching to solo. And so we were going to really start making that transition to solo. And so that we did lose some people. Yeah. Pretty quickly. One person that when we switched to solo, we created a new procedure, which makes perfect sense to me. But what it is if you get off earlier in the day, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, if you're off early and you're a full-time person, you just post in our group, hey, does anybody need help? Right? And so they do it. They do it fabulously. I love watching that every afternoon for the people that get off early. Oh, yeah, I do need help. Yeah, can somebody, so I love that. One person hated that and left. She wanted to do her 2 jobs and be done. And so we go, well, you're not checking in. How come you're not checking in? Never mind. So she'd been with us for a while and she decided she was going to exit. And then we had 2 other people that left. But that was it. So that's not too bad.
Yeah, actually. No, not bad at all. That's a big change.
Because you were working 2 people, 3 people. What size teams were you working?
All of that. 2 and 3 people. 2 would be best case scenario, but 3 people. We were just, Tom, I just can't even tell you how much time we were wasting with 2 and 3 people. We're very nice too, which is a problem.
But did you find that like some of the people who were used to working in teams just couldn't function as a solo?
We found that it was really hard to convince everybody in the company, including the office staff, that it was going to be okay. So the office staff would go, well, this person though really shouldn't be solo. They're just not, they're not comfortable and they can't do it. So they really need to be on a team. And so we actually paid the teams a little bit less than we paid the solo. So what we told them was, look, if you're solo, you're efficient. Here's the revenue. This is your productivity numbers, your efficiency numbers. If you go solo, you don't have to come into the office every single day. You only have to come in once a week. This is going to be great. Yeah. You guys that are not quite ready, we're going to give you some time to get used to it, but know that the solo technicians are carrying the revenue load. They're the ones that are helping us, meet those revenue goals. It's not going to be the people on the teams that are coming to the office. And I actually have one person that still comes to the office because she uses one of our cars. And I looked a few minutes ago, and I can't remember now, but I thought, well, look at there. We pay her, like $40 a week or something more for that drive.
Yeah. Because she's leaving from your office every single day.
She's leaving from the office every single day. So anyway, we did have some issues getting people switched over, but then how something happened in Candace's brain, honestly, where she could see that, oh, we can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Once she could get it and, and enjoy the perks of solo cleaning technicians, then she Now they're very flexible.
Yeah.
Just weirdly flexible. This person starts at 9. This person starts at 7:45. They get off at 2. They get off at 5. Yeah.
I think it's been a big shift for our industry in the past year. Just this idea that we as an industry are going to have to be more flexible. We're going to have to find ways to make it work. We're going to have to have smaller teams. Ideally, one person going into a house. There's just a lot of things that we had to make happen. So,
well, we still meet at houses quite a bit because we clean large homes. And so if it's over 4 hours or so, we'll have 2 people meet, but still they're coming from their home. Yeah. It's not a huge labor burden.
Well, don't you find also that when they are solos coming together at a home, it's a different dynamic than when they come as a team, and it's a different dynamic. They're working kind of as solos.
Well, and it's not without some of its issues. Because what we do find now is because we don't have that ladder of cleaning technician, assistant lead, trainer. Nobody really wants to, I shouldn't say nobody. Often we find that one person's not doing a full quality check. So that's really the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head is if we have somebody that's not as productive with they're not as good with quality, the other person really doesn't want to check their job. They just want them to pull their own weight.
Yeah.
So when you've got 2 solos meeting in a house together, it's not clear who's in charge. Whereas if you put them together as a team, you've got a team leader and a helper.
You do.
Okay.
Yeah. And so most of the time we'll match 2 people up fairly regular. Like I have this one team or a couple of teams that I can think of that they just work really well together, and they're not teams. I'm sorry. They're solos that will meet a few times a week. Right. They'll come together a few times a week for larger homes and deep cleans or whatnot. And they get along well and they hold their own. It's when we have somebody that's falling down a little bit.
Yeah.
That we have a problem.
And because the other person doesn't think that's part of their job to have to, it's not my job to get you to do your job. It's my job to get me to do my job.
Right. I know. So there's that. Yeah. So we're working on it. Our quality holds steady. We do have some ups and downs, but for the most part, I'm satisfied with where the quality is with the new system. And then, of course, we changed recently from hourly, $2 an hour more. Then we worked on everybody's productivity and efficiency. We had a meeting every single morning. I want you to know, with the managers every single morning, looking at the previous day. Well, we talk about 5 minutes of other things, and then we look at the productivity and efficiency. Where are the holes? What problems are we having? How do we need to fix this? Is this a lack of training, or is this somebody not a good fit? I looked, thank you for asking me to do this, because it made me look at every single person that we've lost this year.
Oh, cool.
And I found out that we lost 17 people this year. Of those 17 people, 15 had write-ups. Like we either terminated them. We terminated them, or we were heading in that direction. They were having productivity or quality issues. 2 people left, one for medical reasons, and one, we all cried when he left. But he went to go work with his family business, installing windows or something. I mean, we're like, yeah, that's awesome. Go be with your family. Yeah, we love family businesses. So we were happy. Yeah, sad for us, happy for him. Yeah.
And
so if you look at people over that same period of time who had write-ups, how many are still with you? I'm just, this could be like a good way to predict and intervene, and maybe, this is like artificial intelligence kind of. You can figure out it's going to happen before it happens.
So so here's where we fall down is we're super nice. And Candace has got more hope in her heart for people than anybody I've met. And so we actually did have a termination today. And I actually I work in the office on Mondays. I go in for a little bit on Mondays. And so I was there, and she is just, this is just so hard for you. And I just want you to have a job that you're more comfortable with, And so she has hope in her heart.
I care too much for you to allow you to continue to work here.
Right. But she gives them lots of, so today in our meeting, when we had a win, so we talk about our wins from the previous day or the week or whatever. And I said, well, one of our wins from my perspective is we had a termination, a valid, good termination, somebody that needed to be terminated. I would hope moving forward that we continue to work on following our structured procedures and, helping them out the door a bit sooner.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess that one was soon enough, it sounds like, Diana.
It took too long. This should have happened a month ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the story is, moving forward, we don't want to ever cheat anybody out of the opportunity of having the job they really want.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
Well, one day longer in the job that they don't want is one day that they shouldn't have.
Yes. I will tell you that I have thought before, oh my gosh, what is she doing? This person is not a good fit for the company. They can't handle the job. And 2 or 3 months in, they turn it around and something clicks for them. And I think, oh, I was so ready to terminate. And her little hopeful heart, to where we then have a solid employee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there's a time and a place for that too. When you've got employees come in like crazy and you're not really worried about that, cut them much, much faster. But when you find people, when you're spending $500 to $1,000 a month in Indeed ads, and you get 3 people come through the door. You need to hold on to these people just a little bit longer. Maybe work with them just a little bit more than we might have worked with them before.
Right.
To really struggle to get the work done. Right.
Well, yeah, and we've stayed pretty staffed most of the time. We do have some dips. And right now I get informed regularly how many people we need. And so I know how many I need to hire right now. And that is a deciding factor sometimes, more last year than this year. But I'd rather turn the work away myself than have somebody going out in the field that just is, embarrasses the company, really.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So then the next step we did recently, which is just, my staff so far is thrilled, is we went from hourly to the percentage pay.
Right.
And it has been a beautiful thing. It's been a beautiful thing.
So Diana, tell us a little bit more about how you went from hourly to percentage. I know you guys were really worried about it. As Chad especially was like super stressed out about how that was going to happen. And like, what were some of the things that you did to make a smooth transition? Because it doesn't always go nice going from hourly to percentage.
Well, in March, when we switched over to Made Central, we introduced the idea of productivity and efficiency. Awesome. And we just really stayed on them from March until we made the switch in at the beginning or the end of last month. We just stayed on them. This is, hey guys, remember productivity. This is what this means. And how long are you in the homes? And how much time are you taking? And are you going shopping between house 1 and house 2? Like, what's going on? So what really helped was I have a couple of field managers that are in the Made Central user group. And I asked in that group, what is everybody's productivity? And everybody gave their numbers, and ours was the lowest. Oh. And my managers saw that, And so I went to their trainer meeting like the next week, and I'm supposed to be a bystander in that meeting. I'm supposed to zip it. So I'm listening to the training manager go, I was so embarrassed, and oh my gosh, and what is wrong with everybody, and she was just shocked, and we weren't like horribly in the gutter, but we weren't at 100%. We were like at 92 or 93 or something, where I'm thinking, well, it's not great, but it's not horrible. And then I see everybody else at 100 and 110 and 100, and I thought, oh, okay, we could do a whole lot better. So that was a nice little eye opener. It's good for them to see,
Yes.
I work on educating myself, but I have to remember that they need to get into the mix, with the other cleaning services.
Well, you don't need to tell your field managers this, but it's really kind of hard to compare those things across companies because everybody bids a little bit differently. And you might not be giving your teams as much time to clean a home as some other companies are. So there's a lot of things that could factor into that. But nevertheless, it's
right. But we actually went head to head with Matt. How much time are you giving for this size home? I mean, we like broke it down.
Oh, okay.
Chad, my husband, I will look over at him driving down the road or sitting at the dinner table and say, what are you thinking about? And it's always numbers.
Okay.
So numbers. And when I go to sleep every night, it's to the nice QuickBooks light or spreadsheet of some QuickBooks spreadsheet, whatever. He's always looking at the numbers. So he and Matt, he's like, okay, well, if the square footage is this, and so they picked it apart to see like where we were falling down. So that was super good, but it's amazing what happens to your productivity when you say you're going to now be paid by your productivity. It immediately the first week it was over 100, and it has stayed over 100.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you want to underestimate too how beneficial it is to give them that training in advance. Put the focus on it, make them understand it, and understand what some of the tricks are, and start thinking about it. You guys did, like you said, you put daily focus on it.
6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are believing it and they're understanding it, but they're thinking, I don't know how, I don't have, and they're getting over a lot of that. Then you kick them over to percentage and they're like, okay, we had all our practice time.
Right.
Here's the game.
And of course, same thing with this. When we moved to percentage, we immediately lost, I think, one person that I can think of, maybe two, right away. And they said, there's no way, because they knew they would hit base. Yeah. And their base pay is $14 an hour. And if they hit base pay a couple of weeks in a row, we give, everybody has a month from start of this new process to get to where they needed to be. But then after that, they would have basically like a recovery program similar to what we have for quality. If you have quality issues, we have, okay, here's your first issue that we do this, second issue that, third issue that. We do the same thing now with the base pay. If they hit base pay productivity, which this week we had 3 people hit base pay. They did payroll this morning and 3 people hit base pay. And only one of them was from hit base pay last week. And one of them had the highest hourly rate last week and then hit base pay this week, which was interesting.
All right. So first I want to explain base pay for people who don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So, that's okay. So for people who don't know what base pay is, what she's talking about, she pays percentage. And for example, easy numbers, 40% of the job goes to the cleaning professional. But she guarantees that they'll never make below what she calls base wage. So for example, like $14 an hour is base pay. So they make a certain percentage, but if they spend too much time in the house so that they then drop below where it would actually be even less money than $14 an hour, she'll still pay them $14 an hour. But now they're in the bad person system. They have to start making more money. They need to make at least $14.01 to be making money.
Which I think I had 3 people that didn't hit base, and only one other person was in the $14 an hour range. They averaged this week $17.85.
Nice.
Because if you've got a cleaning professional that's not at least hitting base, at the end of the week you have to add extra money to their check to get them to base. That extra money is called supplemental pay. And supplemental pay basically is another way of saying that's profit that you would have had that you don't have. So if you're constantly having to do the supplemental pay thing, at some point they sit down with Candace and talk about what job they really would love to have because it's not the one they're in.
Right. And Candace did point out to me, okay, so this person's hit base pay 2 weeks in a row. So she and I will be having a conversation to find out, what the next steps are, which would be making sure she's very aware, which of course she is, and then okay, we need to come up with a plan. So then she comes up with a plan, and then if we do it again, then we're going to do some retraining.
All right. So this is what I just heard. First time at base pay, nothing really happens. Second time at base pay, hey, let's show you're at base pay twice in a row, and let's come up with some type of a plan.
What's going on? Why do you think you're hitting base pay?
What's up? And then the third time, if they hit it again, is it 3 times in a row? Or what if they're good for 2 weeks and then they hit it again, hit base pay again a third time?
So I'm kind of using the same process that we have with quality. Okay. I'm sure we will be adjusting it as I see. So with quality, it's like heads up, have a talk and make a plan. 3rd is retraining. 4th is 3-day suspension. 5th is termination. So that, and that's all within 30 days. So like if they get to retraining, but then they don't have any more issues for 30 days, right? Then they start from step 1, say in 60 days, they have issues again. Time starts again. Yeah, the clock starts over. Yeah. I just don't want to have a lot of opinions. So it's better for me to have a structured system because I really like people, And I think, gosh, she's so nice though.
And her husband's not working right now. And
I know.
Oh my God. And you know what? I'm sure she's pregnant. Oh my God.
She's had a terrible breakup.
That's the worst right there. You definitely got to have a good system.
Yeah, you do.
Especially if you like people.
So
you see, Tom's not like there.
What were your second and third steps? Heads up is the first one. Hey, you hit supplemental pay last week, and what do you do? What do you do the second time?
You call them in and have a chat with them and find out why. You just ask them why do you think you're hitting base?
Create a plan.
Okay, it's a more detailed. Heads up is you didn't hit base.
Right.
The second one is let's have a discussion as to why you think you're not doing it.
You tell me why you think you're not hitting base pay, and you tell me where you're falling down. So I will say it's a lot of times it's just poor communication. If they're in a first-time client's home and they're not requesting time, which is a legitimate request, then it's poor communication. But we do have, this is not the easiest job either, right?
It's not.
No, it's not the easiest job. So you have to think about all the moving parts when you're out in the field. So, yeah.
All right. So did you get your answer to your question, Tom? So
yeah. Well, I'm just trying to think, once you get to the point like suspension, is there much turnaround at that point? Like, I'm at the 4th level and now you're suspending me for 3 days. Well, okay. Well, the heads up didn't work and the chat why didn't work. And even the retraining didn't work, but you sent me home for 3 days. okay, now I'm going to be more productive, or is it
Yeah,
kind of
not
baked
usually.
into the, yeah.
Right. So this morning, the termination could have been a 3-day suspension, but we had rolled around this before. So that's why we decided to skip the 3-day suspension and go straight to termination, because we had already been here with her before. She'd come around that little corner before. So that could happen.
That makes sense to me. I mean, the first time out, I could see going through all 5 steps, but the second time the clock starts,
right.
Right now there's, you just lost a step. I don't know. I'm thinking the third time up, you lose another step.
I don't know. Would I even retrain again at that point?
That's what I'm saying. 3 steps now.
Yeah. Right. So the person that we terminated today had been retrained 1 time.
Okay.
And the field manager's perspective was she's still doing the same things. So we're like, okay, well, at that point, and her productivity just went into the gutter. So, and we knew she was writing long letters of, oh my gosh, I'm trying so hard and this is what I'm doing. It just wasn't a good fit.
Yeah.
I mean, this is truly a situation of she was doing everything she could. She just wasn't a good fit.
Sometimes you really do need a different job. This is not a job for you. I mean, not every job is good for everybody. I would be a terrible person to stand at the freeway exit and beg for money. That would not be the job. I would not be good at that. Some people are good at that. I'm not one of those.
I thought you were going to say you wouldn't be a good person in the toll booth or something, which no, I probably no, you wouldn't.
I might not be good at that either. Yeah. Another good one.
But no, asking for money, probably no.
No. All right. So another thing that you've done a lot of this year, and you guys might have talked about this while I was playing around and, relaxing over here. I think you had to do a few pay increases. So one, you did a pay increase of that $2 an hour.
$2 an hour. Mm-hmm.
And then did you do anything else besides percentage pay, which is another pay increase? I thought you did 3 pay increases.
Well, we actually did 2. I thought we did 3 also. What we did is we did the hourly $2 an hour across the board. And that, I mean, across the board, like everybody.
Yeah.
And then we, when we switched to the percentage pay, because we actually offer a weekly bonus, that took us a minute to kind of figure that out. So then we have our percentage pay plus, what is it? 4% more of you bonus out that week, which is quality, productivity, and attendance.
All right. So you guys decided on 4% then. So everybody has their basic percentage. And then if they meet certain standard, they get an additional 4%. And that's a weekly bonus.
It's weekly. Yes.
All right. So, so for those of you that are considering doing this or something similar, part of what can make this work is when it is weekly.
Yes.
Try to stretch it out too long, you're not going to get the same results.
No, we used to do it 10 years ago or something monthly. And we found that if they bombed the first week, forget about it.
Yeah.
So we do it
take the rest of the month off and try again next month.
Yeah. And so it's a nice selling point too when we're interviewing. Every single week you start fresh. You get a chance to make that extra 4%. Yeah.
All right. So I do have to say now we have been doing. For the last 2 months, we have been using this new selling point that I mentioned once on here. And it has been working great. It's the first question that we get when people apply. And since we started using this, the people that we have brought into the company, only one person has taken the job and then not shown up, which is before we were having more of that problem. And now we're not having it. And this is what we're doing that is different is every month when we do a price increase, we post the names of all of the customers that are getting the price increase in our communication channel. So we just list because anybody that cleans any of those houses is getting a pay increase. And so how we list it is, hey, pay increases this month going out to everybody cleaning these homes. And then in our ad, we have pay increases every month. And then when they ask us, so I read about the pay increases every month, how does that work? Well, we raise client rates every month. So we have pay increases every month. Sometimes you might get one house, two houses, you might get a bunch of them. You might not even have any, but every single month we are raising the money that we pay out. And people love that.
That's awesome.
It has been really, really awesome. It's not a ton of money, right? But people love the idea that they really are getting a pay increase, and they're tracking it now. So that has been
that is nice.
Yeah, it's just a new spin on the same old information.
Well, I actually told my staff that when we switched, but I didn't say it with much vigor because, we still had some clients as we were transitioning where I'm like, why is that client still at this hourly rate? Oh, that's my sister. Or something we had to fix.
Well, even your sister has to pay. That's
right. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and I will tell you, we've been trying to really pin down everybody's roles in the office. And so one of the things that I used to not do that I've started doing recently is I would interview everybody, and if I wanted to hire them, I'd give it all to Candace, and she would call them and arrange the first day and do all that. I recently started doing it in the last month, maybe, and we have had more no-shows in the last month than I can think of in the previous 6 months. So I told her today, I don't know what you were doing, but you were doing it a lot better than me. So we need to switch back to where you're, and she goes, I'm so friendly to them. She goes, I call them and go, hey girl, I'm so excited. I said, okay, I'm not doing that.
You're friends.
Yeah, you get that job back.
But anybody that sees you, like they see you on here, especially anybody that doesn't know you, or people that do know you, is like, what? She's more friendly than you? What?
Oh, I know. Okay, so I'm like mama friendly. She's like friend friendly. Yeah. She is the in-house therapist. I'm like, let me help you with your credit. Yeah.
You're the mom and she's the friend.
Yeah, for sure. I am the oldest person in the entire company. Yes.
Oh my gosh, is that true?
So true. It's the truth. The absolute truth. Yeah.
Wow. Who's the oldest person in mine, and I've got 2 decades on you.
Nope, it's me. I'm the one. There's 2 people really close. There's 2 people that were around the same age, but I'm still older.
I'm still winning. I'm still winning there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking a lot about money here, right?
My favorite subject.
Yeah. So many people, right? So many entrepreneurs. And we also talk about how, the people in this industry aren't necessarily motivated by money, that they're motivated by a lot more than just money, that's like, it's you've got to meet that need. But then after that, people aren't really motivated by money. So is that all you're doing, Diana, is focusing in on the money? And are you thinking that that's going to be the long-term solution? Or tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, I think it's a big part of the solution, honestly. So we focus on the money. My history was, before I started this company, I was in the service industry my entire life. Yeah. And I lived on sales and tips. And so for me, that mindset of the harder I work, the more money I make, it makes sense to me. And it's always made sense to me the way we pay our staff. But I recognize that not everybody thinks like I do. But they do like to be recognized a lot. And so I know, and I haven't seen it yet, but I know Candace is listing not everybody's hourly rate, but everybody's productivity. So she'll put, Jane's productivity and John's productivity. So she has a list that she posted on our group. So we know whose productivity, and they're competitive that way. We still have, since COVID, we went from weekly breakfast meetings to monthly, but we pack a lot of hoopla in our monthly meetings. And so I think they really like the recognition. And so like one person this week, there were a couple of people in the 5 people in the $20 plus an hour range. We want to shout out, are you kidding me? You made one person made $25 an hour. She was training. Jasmine made $25 an hour. They love for us to do that. And this,
you post that in the group that Jasmine made $25 an hour.
Well, we post their productivity. We haven't been posting what their hourly rate is. I don't really see a problem with it, but we'll have to talk to them some more. We just started the percentage. We've only been doing this for a short time, so I'll have to see how everybody feels about it. But I had conversations because I go in on Mondays because that's when the whole staff goes in. And I asked people, what was your hourly rate? And they'd say, oh, it was $16 an hour. And I asked everybody, are you happy with what your hourly rate was this week? This last paycheck, were you happy? Were you satisfied? And so you're at 16. Were you satisfied? Well, I am satisfied, but I know because I talked to some of my friends that they were at 18 and 19. And so I'm trying to figure out what they're doing to get to 18 and 19, because I really want to be at 18 and 19. I'm satisfied with 16, but I want to be at 18 and 19.
Yeah.
So just lots of conversation about that. And I love that they help each other. That's really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me.
That engagement piece is really important when they have buy-in. Linda wants to know what percentage you pay, Diana.
38%. And then 42% for people that get bonused.
And are they making? Oh, and you just started doing this, so it's
right. So, in labor cost this week from last week is 42%. I believe we hit 42%. So much better than the 55 we were hitting.
Yeah.
So they're making much more an hour, and we are hitting better numbers.
Nice.
Yeah, by about 10%. Your
that crazy?
Margins probably doubled, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm not looking over there right now. I'm just focused on the labor cost and the efficiency. Yeah, Chad probably knows.
So the 4% extra. How do they earn that?
That is based on quality, so they can't have any complaints. Productivity, so they have to hit their number, their base pay, and attendance, because we still have attendance issues. We don't really have attendance problems with individuals because they cycle out pretty quickly, but we have 1 or 2 or 3 every day that can't come in for whatever reason. You know what, I think another thing that's made a big difference is the flexibility of our hours. Once I had the office staff on board, one of our friends in a group said that she did a poll and a lot of people, like in a job group, would you rather work 9 to 2 or 8 to 5, making X amount of dollars? And so many more people wanted to work 9 to 2. So when I started offering shorter days, they have to work 5 days when they work shorter days, but shorter days, holy cow. That's really taken off.
Yeah.
And they're making less money, but that really isn't an issue. It's just,
it doesn't seem to be.
And that again goes back to that they're not motivated by money. They're motivated by that time. They're hitting the amount of money that they need to be able to make their bills and pay their rent and buy food. But
this has been a West Coast thing for a while now. I guess just the rest of the country is seeing it.
Yeah.
So I'm picking on Liz a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think too.
I'm like, you guys finally understand.
I'm in Texas, Liz. It takes us a minute. Our minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour here.
Same here.
I mean, is that insane? And we talk about that in our ads and in my interviews. Like, isn't that terrible? No way. We're nowhere near that. I mean, that's just it is. It's pretty shameful.
We would do that to you.
Oh my gosh.
When earlier you said you went back and you looked at the number of people that left your company over the year, and what was that number?
17.
17. And roughly how many technicians do you guys have?
28-ish, maybe.
Okay.
Chad, I actually asked Chad what our employee attrition was, and he said currently about 10%.
Well, on an annual basis, it comes out to be like 81%. I'm doing a little bit of arithmetic.
So this is the last 6 months.
Okay. I'm just looking at it. If you take that on an annual basis, that's 81%, which really in this industry is not bad.
Well, I can remember seeing the numbers 250%. So in my company.
That is.
Yeah, 250%. So I'll take it. And for me too, it's still the 17 that we lost. These are people after training. These, in my mind, they're my fault because I do the hiring. So something wasn't communicated well enough. I go into great detail about showing up for work, ask them a lot of questions about, all of that. But yeah, but that's good. That's something I can work on. I can work on improving my hiring.
Okay. So Aja has something here. She says, Liz is so adorable. No, wait a minute. That's not it.
Why is she laughing about me being adorable? That's what I want to know.
So she's asking about flex weeks. This is
8 to 5, 4 days a week or something like that.
We do that too. So they have two choices for part-time, Aja. They could do 9 to 2, 5 days a week, or 3 or 4 days a week, same hours, 8 to 5:30. Yeah, we do 4 days a week. 3 or 4. They have to work a minimum of 3 days, full days. 3 full days, 4 full days. So yeah, we have two. Yeah, so we're pretty flexible.
Yeah.
And that isn't that well, the people that work full days but fewer days are mostly students.
Yeah.
And then people that are doing that short day,
parents.
Yes, parents.
Yeah, parents with kids got to get out of daycare and all that.
And most of them start at the same 8 to 2. They do 8 to 2. I think I only have 1 or 2 that start at 9 o'clock. But that's just to get them drop their kids off, go clean, pick their kids up. Plus, the people that are getting off at 2, if they finish their one home at 12:30, then they're perfect to go send to help somebody until 2 o'clock.
So I'm never.
So they take a little.
Why do you guys care when they start?
Why do we care when they start?
Yeah, like you have this 9 to 2 thing. Why? Why can't they work 8 to 1 or 9 to 3 or?
It's mostly for the office staff's ease of scheduling.
Just so they
communication, yeah. And then the clients, we have AM clients, PM clients. It's just the scheduling. It's really just the scheduling. Because when we first started, we've done the fewer days, 8 to 5 fewer days, 8 to 5:30 fewer days forever. The 9 to 2 thing was like, they were not thinking I was cute with that. I got a little bit of pushback. And every now and then I got a little comment. Oh gosh, well, she's one of those 2 o'clocks. Let me figure out what I'm going to do.
Thanks, Diana.
Yes, but we're fully staffed, aren't we? That's my job.
We're working. We got
Yeah, right.
So I was trying to do the shorter day for parents, school hours. Yeah.
It really seems just a flip of the switch of the way you think about it. Because once they kind of flip that switch, and I hear nothing out of my part-time short day folks. seriously, I hear nothing. They come in and they're getting their job done. They're doing a great job. They're taking their kids to gymnastics after school and they're happy.
Yeah, they're doing what they want to do.
I happen to like that, I happen to like that.
Well, and it really ties into your sort of, I don't know that you call it a core issue, but you do have kind of a core issue of these family values.
Yes.
So it's a big thing that you believe in.
Mm-hmm. So. It is. And I don't call my staff my family. They're definitely not that kind of a family business, but right. They know that my family works there and they know that my family is very important. So no, I'm not going to work on Christmas Eve or the day after Thanksgiving, and neither are they. And if they want to work from 9 to 2 because they want to spend more time with their kids, yes, I agree. Yes. Spend more time with your kids. I think it's very important. Please do. Yeah. Take care of the kids after school.
Yeah.
I have a lot in common with that kind of thought, so I like it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So really we have a lot of just family people that just have families and it just works nicely that way. It's a different mindset, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think the biggest obstacle is the office mindset. Mm-hmm. I don't know how we can't make that work. Well, and I know that's true because like Tom said, we've been doing it on the West Coast for 10 years.
Right.
So it's easy to do, y'all. I don't really know what the is, but if you've never done
Change is hard. Change is really hard. And when you tell somebody you're going to change something, if you don't have a boatload of benefits to load them up with before you tell them about the change, they're going to just see problems. And so right. So with our field staff, we could go, woo, look how pretty this is. This is going to be great. Yay. But then the office staff, I forgot about telling them all the boatload of benefits on why we needed to hire people from 9 to 2. We'll be more staffed. People will be happier. That's it. That's all I had. So
jobs.
Because our contingency plan is you guys need to go out and clean the homes because there's nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
They would love that. Starts looking better. Yeah.
Definitely a lot more sway with that argument, I would think.
So we are right at the top of the hour here. It went fast, didn't it, Liz? Oh, wait a minute. You weren't here for the 4 hours, so you wouldn't.
It went super fast for Liz.
And you know what? It almost felt like 45 minutes or so.
That's funny.
All right.
Diana, thank you. As always.
Yeah.
This is so much fun.
He's always
fun.
I've been told, you have a sparkling personality.
I've heard that.
I've heard that as well. I think I've said that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for so it made me dig in a little bit deeper just to be prepared for the conversation. So thank you for that. I'm happy with my attrition.
Me too. Okay. All right. Well, good luck, everybody. Good to see everybody. And we'll see you on Wednesday. Who's our guest on Wednesday, Tom?
Kevin Kunkel.
Kevin Kunkel. All right. That's going to be a good call. Or a good meeting.
Yeah. Kevin was with us not too long ago. Does work for Department of Labor. Has some pretty interesting insights on how things work in today's workforce, and some hints for us in terms of how to build a workforce that will stay with us. So all in the spirit of employee retention.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Diana.
Thanks, Diana.
See you guys Wednesday. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.